Alhamdulillah. What's up, Nick?
Next time you're out, instead of using all these regular old school Joe pickup lines, you should try one of these. I'll wait her, why save her, so why try to bait her? Maybe one day she will favor me, I just might date her. They rub my pokeballs the wrong way and I'll eradicate. I keep it straight though, I can say I wanna play her patty cake. You drop something, baby, ain't no need to fear. It was just a conversation, I'll pick it up from here. Forget these other blames and you won't hurt no more. You must be Google cause you have everything that I'm searching for. Girl, hold this shirt real quick, I'm super serial. You know what that's made of? Yeah, that's boyfriend material. I think she thinks I'm a player, she thinks these all are big buns. I'm an average though, I just crush a lot, so here come the big guns. Never had to stretch as far, now I'm obtuse. The angle I get from you, girl, is really acute. If you got that, it's a sign, so you should co-sign and be done. Cause we do that together, we practically be one. So many ladies, you all must be Jamaican. What? Cause you Jamaican me crazy. Some lines work best and some other worse. But if you were a booger girl, you know I'd pick you first. These other guys beneath you, it's understood. You must be Campbell's cause you are good.
Jesus, clean rap is just terrible. Why did they do this?
But it's better to laugh than sit around and be bored. Next week, catch me at the gym. Leg day, yeah, I'm doing squats. Next to me was the super hot girl. You know I had to bop. I run some.
Happy birthday, Nick. Happy birthday. When sauna. All right, let's get into it. How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday. Another great week to make some money. Let's get into it. Before we start off, a couple of disclaimers. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just a trader doing my own shit. For all the tools that I'll be using on stream, they can be found on the bapigindicator.com website. These guys make the best mathematics-based indicators on TradingView. They also have a bunch of free indicators available, and there is a referral link in the description of the stream as well. And also, come join us in Discord. Come learn about volatility and, add something to the team. Goat Lord, what's going on? How you doing? Come add something to the team. Come spot some of the occurrences yourself and be a part of the community with the Discord link. All right, is that all I want to say? Yes, I think so. Let's get into the charts. Bitcoin having a pretty decent move over the weekend here. Actually, we were shouting out some stuff on Twitter how the HVP was printing zeros across a lot of time frames: 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, 1 day. Extremely low volatility environment. So I ended up taking some positions, and hint hint, come follow me on Twitter for content that's outside of the stream. Might spot something that you don't. Let's take a look at how the world fared over the weekend. What's up, some volatile dude? How you doing? Australia having another kind of flat day with a little bit of up. Entropy continuing to go lower here, giving you a little bit more certainty as we go along. Nice. Above the POVMA, POVMA now printing greens, mom's printing green, and SSR moving up. That's what you like to see. HVP still remains low. Keep an eye on this. Take a look at Germany. Excuse me. Happy birthday to you. Germany, I mean, nothing significant has happened. The thing that I want to keep an eye on here is the SSR being outside of the band, suggesting that this immediate type of behavior is unlikely to persist. Mom now taking a dip down, gave you a nice cross, and we see this kind of extreme behavior to the upside kind of coming to an end. Look for mom to cross up to kind of denote, hey, you might get some more upward momentum here in the near term. Holy shit, where did you get those? Some volatile, dude. Those are cool. Nice. All right, let's take a look at Russia. Still quite random here. Entropy being quite high. HVZ is now at a low. HVP still expanding. So likely you see some volatility in the Russian stock market over this coming week. We do have a lot of closures here for the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of people taking a week or more off. A lot of people actually suggesting that that week off is going to last well into 2022. Let's wait and see. But certainly the one thing that I would want to keep an eye on here is the HVP expanding right now with a bit of a bearish bias here as we are below the POVMA. Real Smiths gave them to you. Man, all right. Good luck. All right. MOEX, very similar stance. HVP going a little bit lower, but expanding over a long period, a longer period here. Nothing too significant on entropy. Look for mom to point up look for mom to provide you with a sense of direction, and the SSR to point up to suggest that, hey, you might see a significant move here in the short term. How's UK doing? Still above the POVMA. You got a bit of an entropy drop here. Let's see if it turns into anything significant. So far, so good. HVP printing zeros. That's the one thing that I would want to bet on in this market, that, hey, you are going to see some volatility. This can take some time, especially if you're looking at the weekly, probably over the next 120 weeks, which is quite the long time. And over 120 days as well. There's nothing statistically significant about that number. It's just the number of days that I use to actually trade the HVP. It's worked out in my favor before. It could be more, could be less. It doesn't have to do anything. Things don't move because of words. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at China. How's China doing? Nothing too significant on China. Same as last week. SSR still pointing up below the POVMA. HVP going lower, and mom in negative zone. Although it did give you a cross up. Not too good of a stance on China so far. Let's see if this persists this week. Have we actually had a day, or is this on Friday? Oh, this is still open. The stream sucks, net positive. Smins, you know where I saw you today? I saw you in a fucking what was the stream? Oh my god, the ASMR stream. I got a nice little screenshot. Papa Wax, what's going on, man? How you doing? All right, let's take a look. See at the Hang Seng. Yeah, very similar stance with Mom giving you a cross down here. Smintz is Smintz is gonna be the official sorcerer of the ASMR ladies. What's my brother? Okay, bro. That's what they all say. Japan, how's Japan doing? Volatility still quite high. HVZ moving lower. That's the one thing I would want to be betting on here is a lower HVP in the near future. Let's see if we can get that to cool further. So probably wouldn't be expecting too much fireworks for the Japan 225. Nikkei, very similar stance. HVP now cooling off. SSR very low. Watch for this to come up to denote the next sort of big move in a direction. So far so good though. Positive bias here as it's above the POVMA, and Mom is in the positive zone. Dow Jones, how are the US markets going to open up today? Let's actually take a look at the ETF as it has the pre-market. Looks like Dow Jones is going to open up. SSR moving up, Mom positive, hinting at a cross up. HVZ moving up as well. Not too much on entropy, still suggesting it's quite random here. How's the S&P 500? The S&P 500 was looking the most juiced last week, as we actually have a lot of things going on here. We have a drop in entropy, which is continuing, giving you a little bit more certainty. You have Mom in the deeply in the positive, actually. Although the R-square has moved up on it, so keep an eye on that as well. And the SSR moving up at the same time, suggesting that, hey, this might be a pretty significant move here. I don't think there's anything such as a target. There's just kind of like zones of probability. It's at some point this will be an improbable trade. So far so good though. I would be generally bullish, and I would want to own this. I would just want to own it. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. Juicer S&P 500. Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. Nasdaq in a similar stance with entropy moving down as well. SSR moving up. You don't have too much room on the SSR, but that's all right. We kind of have to see what it does next. So far, so good, though. I mean, like, what could I say about this? It's juicer. It's juicer. You got a bunch of entries on the POVMA. You got entries on Mom. You had entries on SSR moving up. Like, what more do you want? Just own some fucking assets. That's all I can say for this time. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. All right, let's take proceeds to give financial advice. All right, let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq looks like it's gonna open flat. We don't actually have that much time before the open. 4 minutes. I think there's also some sort of Elon Musk bullshit as well that we kind of want to keep an eye on today. He was tweeting something about selling his stock. We'll take a look at that today as well. Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. Let's see the open. Of course, Bitcoin being the big story over the weekend, moving a whole 4% up. Actually, you got quite a few decent indications here to be trading, just because you have a reduction in entropy again. I was out of my positions at this point because I was looking for entropy to go higher. We didn't get that, so I have to change my mind. Above the POVMA, Mom going positive, SSR moving up. HVP is low and looks like it's going to be expanding. On the 12-hour, you got a HVP entry as well. On the 4-hour, HVP was printing zeros. And on the 1 hour, HVP was giving you a lot of zeros. This is sort of just like zooming in on a time frame. This tool really helps me time my positioning. We don't get a sense of direction from it, but you can apply something like probabilities and see what's more likely. For example, on the daily, let's take a look at the probability panel. Let's actually do a bar replay, just because we will get the information at that time to somewhere like this. Let's see what was more likely over the next 30 days: 67,716 and 56,058. Let's go even 56,205. Future bars 30 days. Let's see what the probabilities were saying. 21% probability of downside, 28% probability of staying in the range, and 49% of going above the range. Make me mod. Make some volatile dude mod. Yeah, done deal. Let's see, can I actually do this from here? No, I can only block or report you. Okay, I'll figure this out. How do I close this? There we go. No, man, you said make some volatile dude mod. So done deal. So actually there is something I wanted to show, because I've been harping on the fact that like the stuff we've been doing for the last couple of weeks with the stream, where we, and that's the market open. Hey, welcome. Where we've been taking positions sort of on an individual basis, trying to do delta trade, the same kind of thing that the TA rees do. We scratched a good bit of profit of 41% over that time frame. But during this time period, I ended up just buying out FTX. I took up, hey, thanks, Mintz. There's so I ended up just buying out the exchange on FTX. I bought I think like even size bets across 140. Hey, anonymous cheer, thank you. What the fuck was I saying? Yeah, okay. I bought 140 positions. I took a shitload of longs, even size bets just across the entire exchange, and for the last 2 days I've been cutting losers. And I just want to showcase, I understand that like there's an argument to be made that I'm using a lot more leverage in order to now do this instead of when we were sizing with Kelly. But if you think about it from like the perspective of just what we know about statistics, where like 80% of things go up, 20% of things go down. When you're betting on the downside, it's going to be a bet between 0 and 1, and when you're betting on upside, it's going to be a bet between 1 and infinity. It sort of starts to make sense how you can deploy a lot of leverage. I'm not advocating anybody do this. This is what I'm doing. Okay, just a heads up. You guys can do your own shit. But here, let's take a look at the left side scene. So this was my initial deposit, $379. I made that extremely public that I had $300 in ETH on this. This was the week of trading that we did, or 2 weeks of trading that we did on the stream. And this is your portfolio when you just own a bunch of assets, and then you're exposed to the market volatility across like an entire sector, rather than picking individual bets and then kind of going with those. You guys do you, but this is probably how I'm going to bet from now on. I don't think we should make the stream into something that the TA people can whatever, like I'm making money. I don't care. all right, let's get into finding some occurrences. How did the market open? Who cheered? Hey, welcome. Powerful gains. Yes. Yes, exit that. Mind trading you seen? Yes. All right. Let's see how the market opened. Yeah, good open for the S&P 500. Entropy going lower. Nice. Powerful. Nasdaq open flat but positive. Let's see if this continues. SSR would seem to suggest that it does. Hey Henry, can you make people mod? If you can make people mod, can you please make some volatile dude mod and not Smints? And if not, then don't worry about it. Thank you. Let's take a look at Tesla. This is actually a pretty big story over the weekend where Elon Musk was attempting to... Hey, BVO, thanks for the sub, man. Much appreciated. How's this still pre-market? Huh? Is the market not open? Is there daylight savings? Oh, you guys. Oh my god. What time's the market open? No. No Smiths for mod. 9:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. What time is it in EST? It's 8:30. God fucking damn it. We're an hour early, boys. We're an hour early. The market's closed. Why do you guys have daylight savings time? Who does this? Who the fuck does this? All right. All right. No, keep your money, Smiths. keep your money for the ASMR streamers. All right. I guess we're an hour early. Welcome to Monday. All right, let's take a look-see at the stuff that is open. Tesla looks like it's going to open down 4%. We'll see if this persists throughout the day. I don't know whether Elon Musk is actually wanting to sell. I think the amount is something like $10 billion. Let me pull up the Twitter. Told you. Told you the stream sucks. I'll be awesome. Thank you, Henry. Much appreciated. Let us see the tweets from Elon Musk. Who said that first? God, I hope I'm not repeating some shit. Powerful Elon. Oh my god, Lord Edge. What? Oh, he's so cool, guys. He's so cool and brave. 10% of his Tesla stock. Propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock at the top. Nice. Thank you, Henry. Perfect. How much stock does he own? How much stock does Elon? How much Tesla? Okay, so Elon owns 193 million Tesla shares, representing 20% of shares outstanding. So if you were to sell 10% of that, that would equate to 2% of total shares. That's nothing to snicker at. I obviously don't think that he's gonna be selling it as a block. Well, I don't know. Maybe fucking Elon. Who the fuck knows? Honestly, but you know, this could cause an upset. Maybe he sold pre-market. Let's go. All right. I am Almighty Jera. A massive, huge move is incoming. Be ready for it. I am preparing the huge move that's coming this century soon and closing my shorts for the huge move. The huge move will be so big and massive when the huge move does come. When 12K. All right, yeah, so this one should be fun this week. HVP still expanding, entropy is still down. Let's see if we can get it to arise with this type of behavior on the stock. I know Bali was actually talking about, hey, there might be something correlating specific news bits and volatility that a stock can experience in the future. I'm not sure if these guys are working on it or if somebody else was proposing that, but for something like this, it'd be an interesting case study. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one. Yo, Chili, what's up, dude? All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. How's Ethereum doing? Nice. Entropy also moving down on Ethereum. I'm positive SSR has actually a lot of room on the on Ethereum. I think much less on Bitcoin daily. Yeah, much less room on SSR for Bitcoin than Ethereum. Powerful app. Also very low volatility. Probably printing zeros on the 4 hour, printing zeros I would assume on the 1 hour. Again, HVP is not a directional tool, but combining that with probabilities, it being above the POVMA, entropy moving down can certainly put the probabilities in your favor. Not that the smaller probability can't happen, just a matter of how you position for it. Let's take a look at gold. Gold opened up a little bit. Nice, decent. Peter Schiff must be blowing a load right now. Let's go. XAG. Also, I think the market cap of Bitcoin has now overtaken the market cap of silver. I think I possibly saw that on Twitter somewhere. Pretty interesting. Let's see if that continues. I don't think silver has much use as a monetary metal anymore. It's mostly just for making stuff. How are the currencies doing? Where are currencies here? There. Dixie starting off the day with a little bit of downside. Look for SSR to start something new here if you're trading currencies, and HVP expanding as well. Health is wealth, other than huge massive moves that are coming, so all is well. Oh my god. Alright, let's take a look at Australian dollar. Australian dollar opening up, entropy going lower. British pound, same. Actually, you got a nice entropy going lower move here, and HVP expanding over a period of time. Could see some fireworks in the British pound. This is kind of getting to that zone where shit starts happening, you know, like you see a nice little ramp up and then boom, HVP. Okay. Alright, good thing I don't post this chat on fucking YouTube. Oh my god. You guys are getting ridiculous. Canadian dollar futures also extremely low HVP. Look for SSR to start something new. Euro FX. I wonder how close this is actually to Dixie. Did it invert this? Why are you inverted? Yeah, this is pretty close. Pretty close to Euro FX futures for the Dixie. I think Dixie is something like 60% just euros essentially, so they do trade extremely close. I'll feel just a little or very feel. Very feel. Japanese yen, nice entropy move here. Let's see if this comes to an end. You have some amount of down days now with the SSR moving up from a low point, likely to continue, at least for the time being. Yeah, probably some downside in the Japanese yen. I mean, you can look at, when I say probably, just look at the fucking probabilities, honestly. You're at the 5% cone. Oh. That's what's going on. I'm still inverted. Sorry, you guys. Disregard the Japanese. Just probably some upside for the Japanese yen. God damn it. Look for SSR to start something new on the New Zealand dollar futures as well, and the Swiss franc HVP very low, SSR extremely low. Some moves in currencies incoming, something to keep an eye on for sure. It could be based on assets moving as well, as people, you know, when they buy currencies, they're usually selling assets. Not always, but let's take a look. See. When huge massive move, always, my friend, always. We've had a massive move in our portfolio. All day, every day. Dude, it's actually okay. It's actually nuts. If you really think about it, how much volatility cryptocurrencies have in though. It's like since October the 18th, I think we've nearly 3x our account, which is like, I know it's different if you have a large account. I know it's different if you have a small account. I know, I know, but still nuts. Mexican peso, Roderick, what's happening? Let's take a look at it. MXN. This is this kind of liquid. Let's take a look. Overall positive on the weekly, above the POVMA, HVP expanding, although SSR is suggesting, hey, this is some sort of mean reversion here. On the daily, rather random. The one thing I would want to bet on in the Mexican pesos and most currencies at this point is higher volatility. I don't know if you can do options on something like this, or if you can structure a volatility bet, but that's probably what I'd be looking for right now. Look for SSR to pick up to provide you with a sense of the incoming move, and refer to momentum indicators as well for direction. Huge massive move, BTC going to dump today. I don't know, man. I don't think so. We're now at the first expected move for BTC and entropy going lower. Although the SSR suggesting, hey, this might not persist for that long. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. It just it would suggest this sort of extreme behavior doesn't persist for too long. Where's a good indication of this? Like something like this here, where you had a lot of updates, a pretty significant move here. SSR was way outside of the band. It started moving lower. You cooled off a little bit, and then you got higher prices later. That's kind of what I mean when I say, hey, this doesn't have to. This is unlikely to last, as the SSR is outside of the band. It doesn't mean we can't get higher prices in the future. Price is pretty random. All right. Should we look at shitcoins today? Yeah, like none of this even matters anymore. What were we looking at last week? We wanted to line up some trades. FedEx, buy all, AMC, PRTS. Is it going to be a massive move, bro? Don't bother looking at any time frame below the 3 months, bro. It's a waste of time. Yeah, the 3 month stochastics, guys. We found this adjust. These were on Market Chameleon last week for having extremely low IV rank. Why is this not on log? For having extremely low IV rank, kind of lined up with the HVP on a lot of them. I think FCL actually, we both suggested, not sure where he is today. There might be some good volatility plays to be had. I'm probably going to structure these when the market opens, actually. And I'm probably going to structure them as just long adds to the portfolio. Like yeah, Yeah, and if any of them go against me, then I'm just gonna cut them. That's the plan. I don't even know if I'll do options plays on these, either to reduce my cost basis or to sort of to keep myself delta neutral. All right, I'm gonna think on this. How much more time do you have till the market open? We have a shitload of time till the market open. I don't know what you guys are doing awake so fucking early. Go back to bed. All right. Oh my god. Why do I have to accept my own chat rules? This is fucking ridiculous. Can I do this? I think some volatile dude is now mod. Double check that. Yes. There we go. Thank you, Henry, for that. That's awesome. It's 2 p.m. here. Yeah, dude. It's it's 4:48 p.m. here. Vlad is ready for some big massive moves. Again, in past HVP occurrences, when we go from a low occurrence to, or sorry, from low HVP environment to a high HVP environment, it doesn't tell us anything about direction. I'm just going off probabilities here. I'm still long, looking for spots to take profit. It also doesn't necessarily have to be a trend like. It can just like it. This actually, okay, this it's a good time to whip out the Hearst. It's so nice to have tools to figure out, hey, are we in trend or are we doing some sort of mean reversion, some negative autocorrelation? Let's take a look at Hearst. Jesus, how easy can this get? I cannot check the 3-month time frame for Almighty Jera. No 3 months here. Oh, hey, look at that. Hearst just went into trend at 504. 0.504. Nice. Nice. Powerful observations for the Hearst. Jesus. All right, let's see. Let's see. With the fucking S&P 500 going crazy, with the cryptos going crazy, this might be a powerful week. How are rates doing, actually? Relatively flat. Okay, that's okay. Exciting stuff. Anything you guys have lined up for this week? Anything you guys are looking at adding or reducing? Let me know. I'd be happy to take a look at it. Actually, let's take a look at Market Chameleon as well while we're here. Dun, dun, dun. Baby ship dot in you, Elon. I don't think TradingView will have that, my friend. Although we've been finding price charts on sources far and wide at this point. I took some profits off of FTX and I moved them over to MetaMask, and now I'm gonna be getting into that whole shit show. So that's gonna be that's gonna be ridiculous. Although the gas fees are just like nuts. They're extreme. There are some gas companies on here. Exxon Mobil, Chevron, Shell on here. No. How's US oil doing, I wonder? Actually, US oil might have a decent trade on it with the volatility being low and picking up here as well. So far, it looks like it's to the downside, but I don't really like to bet short. Let's take a look at weekly. Oh my god, are you sending me DMs? What are you sending me DMs for? Let's take a look. Make me mod, make me mod. I'll think about it. I'll seriously consider it, alright? I'll seriously consider it, Smins. Yeah, there might be a play on oil as well. You are getting into the unlikely territory. You're on the 5% cone here. Actually drift to the downside. Drift still to the downside. Alright, then let's take a look at the actual market chameleon companies. I think Exxon is XOM. Yeah, Exxon would suggest long here, although it is getting quite random. Above the POVMA, Mom gave you a positive cross, and SSR looks like it's gonna move up. I'm gonna add this one. This looks pretty fucking good. Weekly HVP still moving lower. That's all right. We could catch some drift. Looks like it's going into negative correlation, although I don't trade based on that. SSR quite high. CBTC dumping. I told you 112k. 112k, my friend. SSR positive on weekly BTC actually as well. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Is that what it moved like? What is it, 0.5%? What's going on, guys? We're going down. Yeah, fuck, maybe we'll see. We'll see how deep it gets. Price is random. Price is random. Oh, status for me, for me, not for you. I see how it is. All right. What do we want to do? Why are you distracting me from worksmans? We gotta add this shit to the list. No. And Chevron was the other one. SSR moving up, HVP very low. Mom gave you a positive cross here. I would probably want to take a bet on this as well. You had earnings. How did the earnings go? Positive. And then you have dividends coming up. Nice. Let's add Chevron to the list. CCXI, let's take a look at that. Huge move incoming. I can feel it in my plums. That's exactly how the market moves. You feel it in your plums, you get ready for the huge move, and then it happens. Let's take a look at CCXI. Chemocentrics. You have earnings coming up. I don't personally trade earnings or have any sort of kind of strategy on a binary event like that. I think the guys at Tasty Trade do a lot of work with earnings days. Might be a good thing to check that out. The one thing I'd want to bet on here is the HVP going lower. You would probably actually want to take a look at Market Chameleon as well, just to see if IV is high or not. That can give you a sense of how the options are being priced. I would assume they are, seeing as how you got a pretty decent bout of volatility. Let's take a look. CCXI. It's not that high. It's 55%. I'm sure there's a strategy you could 14% for 52-week position. I'm sure there's some sort of strategy you could work out on this, but I'm honestly not the guy to go to. There Chili Willy, you're in our Discord. Somebody was posting charts of how to play different volatility IV rank environments from Tasty Trade. Might be a good resource for you. If you're just in this from like a added to my portfolio type thing, you had a pretty good week last week, or not last week. How many weeks ago was this? Like 4 or 5 weeks ago. HVP high on the weekly as well as the daily. That's the bet I want to make, is the HVP cooling. I will teach you, Chili Willy. Secret settings incoming. Pay me. Pay me. All right. Just buy Tesla calls. Western Digital could be pretty interesting. A tech stock. LEDC, let's take a look. The huge move that's coming. Yeah, I'm gonna add this one as well. It's gonna be a busy week. It's gonna be a busy week of just buying shit. Hertz. Let's take a look at Hertz. Hertz on daily. So far, so good. Above the POVMA, HVP expanding. Look for Mom to cross up and the SSR to give you a cross up as well, to sort of to give you a good indication of a potential setup. So far, so good. I just want to be positive on something like this until proven wrong. Nice. Powerful car rentals. Buying all the Teslas. Did that shit get sorted out? I know there was a bunch of stuff where people were saying, hey, or Musk was saying that there's no contract, and then Hertz were saying that, hey, we actually purchased the vehicles. Did that get sorted out? Is somebody lying? Seems to be a lot of shady shit around going on around Tesla. Very powerful marketing, though. We did hit the first expected move on Bitcoin for today. I don't have a strong opinion on whether we go further than that today, but overall, I am still positive on this asset. All right, we got half an hour until the market open, boys. How's MindMet gonna open today? Powerful up 3.5% pre-market. Jesus, they can't stop me even if they tried. GitLab, powerful 1.34% up pre-market. I don't know if this will stick throughout the day or not. Udemy down. I don't think I'm going to cut this one. I don't have that big of a position on this. Probably just add some other stuff. Am I still in AVAX and BNB? I have no fucking idea. Let's check. I think I just started taking trades on the perps. I am out of the spot markets for the time being. Other than some Ethereum, I did end up going over to MetaMask. Let me check my positions. Yeah, I do have a position on AVAX perp. Actually, one of my bigger gainers on AVAX, and I have a position on BNB as well. Not that big of a gainer, but it's a bigger position. It's actually overweight because I wasn't able to buy like zero point 0.1 of a BNB for some reason on the perps. They were only selling them in 0.5s. Where is it? BNB. Oh no, they weren't selling them in 0.5s. They were selling them in 0.1s. Shit. Powerful. Yeah, both of those are still active. Let me see actually what my biggest losers are. I ended up cutting a bunch of losing positions too. I still have to cut probably AR perp and spell perp. The rest of it is just kind of flat. Nice. How's Comcast doing? Excuse me. Nothing burger move in the pre-market here on Comcast. All right, let's take a look see at some of the finance shit before the market open here. Sorry guys, give me a second to find some of this shit. All right, these are the guys from Alhambra Investments that I've been harping on about. They're pretty solid on finance stuff. At least they attempt to use evidence-based analysis. What would you say? Yeah. So let's see what their latest is. And
bond yields neither
and
predict nor depict the consumer price index. Rather, they quite accurately forecast and realistically reflect inflation. Interesting. It sounds very esoteric. It sounds like a paradox. We're going to unpack that statement with the help of the man that wrote it, Jeff Snyder, the head of global research for Alhambra Partners. Jeff, we're going to do a two-part special. Part one, we're going to be focusing on the 1950s bond markets and inflation in the United States. And then in part two, we're going to move to the 1960s, 1970s, and more recent years, 2000s, and try to, I guess, what will be the Aesop's fable, the life lesson out of these two episodes, Jeff? How would you summarize it?
Well, we're trying to get at the CPI depicts consumer prices, and we're really trying to figure out what is behind an increase or lack of increase in consumer prices. And I think, again, inflation is an emotional topic for very good reasons, which we've talked about, because it's the most painful thing, and it's something that you notice every time you go to the grocery store when it happens. Yet what we're trying to do is say, this is different from this. The CPI goes up under certain circumstances for certain reasons, and those reasons are something else. And then there are other times when the CPI goes up for reasons, and then it tends to stay up for reasons that are monetary in nature. And so we're trying to figure out, can we sort out between consumer price increases that are due to money, therefore inflation, or some other consumer price increases that are due to other factors, which would make them transitory or temporary. Because as we all know, real inflation, which is sustained consumer price increases, is always and everywhere monetary phenomena. So if there isn't the money system behind it, there isn't the money growth and money overgrowth, whatever you want to call it, behind the consumer price increases, it's not really inflation. So we're not really saying that consumer prices didn't go up. We're trying to tell you that, okay, maybe they went up for other reasons, and that in identifying other reasons, that will help you understand what's actually happening and what we can do about it. Because, and so, what we're really trying to do is, okay, as we're sorting through the CPI, we're trying to make sense of, is there some tools out there that we can lean on to help us discern which one is which is consumer price increases for non-economic factors, which is consumer price increases for monetary factors, and is there a way we can tell the difference?
As we approach our workbench, we see several tools lying there. One of them is labeled Bloomberg, the other one is CNBC, third one's financial media, and then there's a fourth one that says US sovereign bond market. And that one's very shiny, but it's also been put to use for decades, for generations. It's a tool that's welcome, useful, helpful, and is, well, how do we describe it? It's a Swiss Army knife. What's that one tool that you can always count on and use? I don't know, Jeff, but whatever that tool is, that's what we're going to be saying the bond market is. We're going to start out with an essay that you wrote at the Real Clear Markets blog site, and it was called "The Federal Reserve's Policy Deficit Has Always Been About Money," posted on the 29th of October, 2021. We're going to go all the way back to 1950, the U.S. economy, and you inform us that in the first 6 months of 1950, the U.S. economy was rip-roaring. Why was it rip-roaring? It was rebounding.
Yeah, it was rebounding from a really nasty recession in 1949. Plus, there are all sorts of positive contributions from, general secular factors, the world recovering from the aftermath of the Great Depression and World War II. So there are positive factors there as well. Plus the initial surge out of the recessionary trough, especially first half of the 1950s. So the economy was already expanding in, double-digit rates. I think GDP was growing at, better than 12% in both quarters. So it was actual legitimate economic recovery at that time in the first half of 1950.
That's right. So from November 1948 to October 1949, we are told that there was a recession. It was an 11-month recession. Unemployment reached 7.9%, and the peak to trough decline in gross domestic product was 1.7%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but let's not forget, of course, we're not just measuring what actually took place, but what was missing. We're anticipating growth. So we didn't get the growth that we should have been getting for those 11 months. Plus, there was an actual decline. And to your point, in the first quarter, GDP grew 16.6% at an annual rate. And then the second quarter, 12.8%. Unbelievable, huge. But you draw to our attention that consumer spending was not powering this rebound. And you draw our attention to something else. Why?
Well, because first of all, I think the point that you just made about the business cycle is a good one, is that, in the initial recovery period, it's not just that we start growing again. There's that catch up, right? We had this period, and it was an entire year where growth was missing. Not only was, the economy in contraction, but we missed out on a lot of growth. And so a real recovery usually starts out with, okay, we're starting to go back in the right direction, but also we have to we have to make up for this year that we lost in terms of lost growth. So there's businesses that reinvest, there's inventory that needs to be restocked. There's all sorts of those types of catch-up processes that begin the recovery trend, that are more focused on getting the economy moving back in the right direction. That isn't necessarily due to consumers, who kind of come in later when things are really starting to go well. Because remember, businesses are just starting to rehire, they're just starting to reinvest and do all these other recovery type processes.
That's right. You note that over half of the first quarter's increase in GDP was due to just businesses restocking. That's going to be very important, because in this third quarter, what we saw was consumer spending surging, a wild frenzy to purchase goods, which should sound familiar for modern viewers. But Jeff, it wasn't the coronavirus that convinced consumers they needed to buy goods now, immediately, and stock them away. It was something else, something that happened in late June 1950.
You wouldn't imagine it, but in the second, as you said, the third quarter of 1950, consumer spending was at such a pace that it put what's gone on this year to shame. It was such an enormous wave of consumer, whatever the word, whatever kind of word you might want to use, frenzy,
binge,
something. Binge, yeah. It's just consumers just went nuts, but they had a legitimate reason, and that's kind of where we're getting to here. On June 24th of 1950, it doesn't sound like these two events would be connected, but the North Koreans invaded South Korea and therefore triggered the Korean conflict. Now, how does that lead to American consumers going completely crazy? Well, remember, 1950 was only half a decade away from World War II, and consumers in their living, very vivid memories, understood what national war and conflagration actually meant in terms of the economy. It meant rationing. It meant hardship. It meant you had to buy stuff while it was available. And so as soon as those first shots were fired in Korea, Americans realized what was coming. If the United States was going to join the Korean conflict, which looked very likely from the very beginning, they knew eventually the federal government under Truman was going to start rationing and cracking down and cutting back on what was available in terms for consumers to buy and use. So they quite naturally bought everything they possibly could, knowing that at some point in the not too distant future, those goods that were available in the third quarter of 1950 would not be available very widely going forward during the war.
It's hard to believe today, 21 years into the 21st century, but governments would ration during war, at least back then. And not very long after the invasion by North Korea, in September, the United States Congress passed something called the Defense Production Act, September 1950. And what was that? That basically gave the government a lot of control over price controls and wage controls and production and governing.
Industry in general. The government could come in and say, look, we need you to build this for us because this is a war and national survival is at stake. So you used to make cars, General Motors, now you're going to make tanks, whether you like it or not. And again, people accepted that. In World War II, it's easy to accept that kind of government control given the nature of the struggle at hand. Even though Korea wasn't the same level of national struggle as World War II had been, consumers rightly understood what Truman was going to do because that's in very short. The president was very honest in saying, look, this is what we're going to do. The Defense Production Act was essentially the sort of the anticlimactic part of that process, which was we're going to start taking over certain parts of the industrial economy because we got to manufacture things for the war.
Here's the description. An act to establish a system of priorities and allocations for materials and facilities, authorize the requisitioning thereof, provide financial assistance for expansion of productive capacity and supply, provide for price and wage stabilization, provide for the settlement of labor disputes, strengthen controls over credit, and by these measures facilitate the production of goods and services necessary for the national security, and this is my favorite part, and for other purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, you will not be surprised that was passed in September 1950. The Korean War was over-ish a few years later, right? 3 years later, if I remember. All right, people will say, well, the Cold War continued. Yeah, that was over in 91. Jeff Snyder, I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count, as to whether or not this act is still on the books to this very day and is being used by each president, and the last use of it was by President Biden because of fires in the West, in the United States. It's unbelievable that such a thing never sunset, but maybe that's just me. Let's get back to the economics. So this was...
From the nature of government to the nature of economics, right? Those things are sometimes intertwined, but it's amazing, or not amazing, but standard procedure that, governments, power, all of that stuff would flow through an economic system, and usually at the expense of people, folks, and consumers.
So the United States consumer was correct. They anticipated that they needed to buy like crazy because all of a sudden the goods may not be available. Good shortage, sounds familiar. And over the next couple of quarters, you note that there's this alternating between consumer spending surging, pulling back, inventory surging, pulling back. It sounds familiar. It sounds like chaos. And then where do we go from there? I guess you segue to prices. Tell us what is happening to prices. You have some dates here, June 1950, July, went from a negative to a positive. Tell us what was happening to prices.
As you would expect in the 1940s type of a recession, there had been outright deflation in consumer prices throughout 1949 that extended into 1950. Now, consumer prices were already rebounding in the first half of 1950, as we said, the recovery starting to manifest, and there was consumer prices going back up, a little bit of reflation in that respect. But in July of 1950, all of a sudden consumer prices just absolutely surged. And again, they did so in a way that makes the consumer prices of this year look tiny by comparison. So the CPI turned positive in July 1950 on an annual basis, but it truly accelerated from, I think it was July 1950 until February 1951, which was, an 8-month period where consumer prices were rising at I think it was 12 or 13% annual rate, which is, puts 5% annual rates to shame.
Exactly. And we can see why. But the question is, was it due to
consumer demand, restricted supply, small e economic, simple supply demand curves that show us that prices have to adjust, right? If people are willing to buy a whole lot of goods that aren't really widely available, they're going to bid for them. They're going to pay whatever they have to, especially if you believe that I have to buy this good today or I may not get it for many years down the road because it's going to be denied to me. It's, again, it's the same exact mechanics as we have in 2021, only this time at an even bigger scale.
Now we're going to talk about what the bond market reaction was to this. Spoiler alert, or lack thereof.
What's up, Mod Man?
Erudite, smart listeners to the show will say, well, of course there was much of a reaction because there was this whole 1950, 1951 Federal Reserve, U.S. Treasury. U.S. Treasury was controlling the Fed, so there were caps on yields and all that sort of stuff. Tell us about, before we talk about bond prices, just set the scene. What was the Federal Reserve thinking when they were seeing these consumer price increases? What was the Treasury? What was the relationship between these two entities?
Well, going back to 1942 and World War II, the Treasury Department had said, hey, we're fighting a war. We don't want the government to be disrupted in financing this war. So your job, Fed, because you screwed up the Great Depression so bad, we're just going to give you a little job to make sure the bond market doesn't blow up. So you cap long-term interest rates implicitly. You cap short-term Treasury bill rates explicitly. And therefore, we'll let you keep yourself in business. But you do what we say, which is your primary focus, Federal Reserve, is to make sure there's enough cash flowing through the system so that the government doesn't have a busted auction because we're fighting a war here. And so we fast forward to 1950. We got the Korean conflict, and the Treasury Department under a guy named Snyder with a Y, not an I, and President Truman expected, hey, this relationship that began in World War II with the Federal Reserve is the same. Treasury is the top dog here. The Federal Reserve is an afterthought. Your job, Fed, is nothing more to make sure that the government can sell its debt because we have to fund this war. In the Federal Reserve over there, they were saying, well, wait a minute, we can do more here. We think we're pretty smart people. We understand the way things are going. And by the way, we see consumer prices creeping up. We're getting really concerned that this is going to turn into an inflationary nightmare on top of trying to fight the war. So maybe we need to reprioritize monetary policy so that instead of we make sure the Treasury can sell its bonds, maybe we let interest rates move around a little bit and prioritize instead consumer prices because they seem to be getting out of control here. And maybe this is a good time for the Fed to assert its own independence because for the good of the nation, we think we know what we're doing.
Now, the war and the wars, there was an intermission between the two. And I'm thinking of the years 1947, 1948, because what you just described with respect to the Fed and inflation and consumer prices surging, this wasn't the first time this had happened in recent years. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened in 1947, 1948, how, again, we thought there was going to be inflation and the Fed should do something. And then within a year, they said, well, never mind.
It's actually 1950 was actually the third time. And the first time was 1936, when the Fed got all concerned about inflation during the Great Depression and said, we're going to raise the reserve requirement, which resulted in a depression within the depression in 1937. So strike one on the Fed and its inflation fighting capabilities there. As you just mentioned, Emil, 1947, 1948, again, consumer prices absolutely surge. And this time it was, again, a supply shock because European nations started to buy lots of goods as they recovered from the ashes of World War II. The Fed said, oh my God, this is inflation. We better start buying long-term treasuries because the treasury market's going to fall apart. It's going to blow up. And then within, I think it was 8 months, they started to sell those bonds back because treasury yields didn't rise. In fact, we headed into a deflationary recession in 48 and 49, as we just said. So inflation panic in 47, strike two. No, this time is for sure 1950. No, we're absolutely positive. This time the treasury market will blow up, or at least the inflation, if we don't do anything, inflation is going to get out of control. We're absolutely serious this time. We're so serious that during the second half of 1950, as the Korean conflict is getting underway, the Federal Reserve created a scandal by publicly opposing Treasury's policy and creating an enormous amount of difficulty that hit the newspapers worldwide because they said, this is our line in the sand. We are willing to risk this fiasco, this political problem, because we believe inflation is really getting out of control. Have you seen the CPI lately? And they decided, this is it. We're going to resist being placed under Treasury's control because we think it's important to get control over this inflationary eruption.
In about a decade or so, Milton Friedman would say inflation is always a monetary phenomenon. And here we have a couple of examples of the Fed saying inflation is a consumer price phenomenon that will persist and be pervasive. What we're observing, these supply shocks, demand surges. Okay, so 2 examples. Here's our third one. And I've got the numbers here, Jeff, but basically what happened is consumer prices were going up, okay. Bond yields started to rise a little bit. They went up from 2.19, the deflation-induced low, you call it, to 2.4% in March 1951. And eventually, by the end of 1952, 2.75%. Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was...
So, yeah. So from the recession low in 49 is 2.19% to by the time of March 1951, which is an important date. March 1951 is the month that the Federal Reserve actually achieved its independence from the Treasury Department. And it's a huge date in the history of the Fed. According to the Fed, they tell you this all the time because they said we had to become independent of the Treasury because this inflation problem was so bad.
All right, we're gonna finish that later. Five minutes till the open. Let's get some music on, please. Here we go. All right, Tesla looks like it's actually gonna open quite a lot down. 5.5% down for Tesla here in the pre-market. S&P 500 looking fucking powerful. Powerful. On the 1 hour too, actually, you're getting a reduction in entropy here with the HVP moving up. I'm positive if the SSR turns up, even on an hourly move, it's gonna be pretty significant. Nice. Nasdaq also going lower on entropy. Let's see if the SSR does get to point up here as it's going above the POVMA. That will be a very nice short-term trade as well. Yeah, like nothing negative to say. Let's see the open. We got 4 minutes. How's gold doing? 0.31% up. Schiff is a happy guy. All right. TLT is gonna open down a little bit. It's looking like we're in for quite the week. We'll see how this week goes, but next week I want to be really careful with this. The SSR is now outside of the band for the S&P 500 on the weekly, suggesting we're not going to see this behavior persist for much longer. It doesn't mean we can't get higher prices. They might just not come in the same fashion. We've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks up. Weebos, what's happening? You know, Tone Vase is doing his counts here, so when it gets to 9, he's definitely gonna fucking YOLO sell. So something we want to be aware of. Okay, this is how you trade. You count from 1 to 9, and then there are secret numbers from 9 till 13 that only I know of. What a guy! What a guy! Man. All right, we got 2 minutes. I gotta set my alarms too. When are they gonna get rid of daylight savings time? It's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Where's my alarm? What was it even used for? 5:30 p.m. and then midnight. Now the market closes at midnight. Now I have to fucking stay up for an extra hour. Jesus. Numerology powerful. Bilbo does numerology too. Moon cycles, friends. It's all about the moon cycles. Actually, let's take a look at the probabilities over the next 30 days. Did I get rid of that? 1 minute to go. I only trade when I'm on my period. Probability panel. What just happened? Come back. And that's the real call Miss Cleo for signals, the original scammer. That's the market open. S&P a nice 0.35% for the start of the day. Let's go double side. Let's go over the expected moves here over the next 30 days. 48.30. And for the lower range, we'll go 45.56. Double, yeah. 30, yeah. Scale without a correlation, yeah. Quite a high chance of staying inside the range. Significant chance of going above the range. 41% of going above, 51% of staying inside, and 6.9 nice of going below. So extremely low probability of going below the range. Not zero, obviously. I don't think anything has a zero probability, but if I were to take bets, I would say we're gonna see some upside or stay within the range. That covers about 93% of probability. So good stuff. Let's take a look and see how the Tesla's opened up. Tesla down on the open. We actually do have to wait and see how this is going to close today. We did get a tick up in entropy here. Let's see if this persists, and if we can get the SSR to move up on this move down, then it'll be something a lot more significant. So far, just the down open. We'll have to keep an eye on this one throughout the week. The entropy moving up, if we do close like this with the entropy going up, especially into the insignificant range, this would suggest that it's about to get a lot more random. So you can probably make use of that randomness. The one thing I will say is volatility is likely to expand. Pong F, is that a stock or is that some sort of a term? There's so many fucking Atari. Would bet on volatility going lower. Probably actually want to buy some here. This is OTC. I don't know if I can trade it. I don't think I've traded any OTC shit before. I'm willing to bet that this was some sort of an extreme improbability. Let's go back. $45. Let's even expand that to 0.1s. Powerful cone. You got to a 0.1% probability here on Atari. Something you don't see very often on stocks, especially on dailies at all. Somebody made pretty fucking good use of this trade. Holy shit. What is this? 330% or 300% in a day. In a 3x in a fucking day. Jesus. HVP probably goes lower. HVP probably goes lower. I probably want to add some to my portfolio if I actually can add it. I don't think I want to make a trade out of this though. Yeah, I will say that. And if you're confused on what's more likely, look at the probabilities. Makes it nice and easy. All right, how did MindMed open up? Nice, up 1.75%. Let's see if this persists. That'll be fucking good for my portfolio. GitLab, nice. Let's take a look at Facebook. A bit of a down open for Facebook. Not much to say here. Look for cross down in mom, and your SSR is getting up there quite significantly. What else do we want to look at? Let's take a look at the blue list here. So these are the things I want to structure trades on this week. Western Digital, CVX, PLBY, PLGY or PLBY? PLBY. Let's take a look at that. XOM, mostly up open. FCell, wow, 9% up open. Jesus. I think Weebos was shouting this one out last week. Powerful. All right, let's take a look at PLBY. Yeah, nice. So far so good. I would be mostly positive on this as you are above the POVMA. It has gone green. Mom's positive. Volatility probably expands, although this is quite recent. Just a decent add. If you are trading something like this, look at the SSR. Still in some sort of mean reverting move here, and actually probably Hertz is giving you mean reversion here as well. Let's see, Hertz. Yeah, Hertz is giving you mean reversion here as well. So it's not denoting this as trend, although you are getting up there pretty close to that 0.5 mark. No entropy to be had here. Let's see on the 1 hour maybe. Yeah, so far so good, but from a daily, be careful that this isn't a trending move. You could have some downside in this. Not that I'm calling for that, but be aware. All right, if there's nothing else, I'm probably gonna go structure trades on some of these, and yeah, take care of my stuff. I hope you guys have a awesome Monday. Do you want me to send you over to a nice lady streamer? I know Smiths has already been there for the whole day. All right, anybody who's got parents in the room, make them leave now, or leave the stream. Yeah, thanks for joining. I know we were a little bit early today. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. I hope you have an awesome Monday and an awesome week, and make lots and lots of money, and don't get liquidated. I'm gonna send you guys over to a nice Twitch streamer lady. Oh yeah, I found one. All right, perfect. How is this legal? How is it? Oh my god, my entire feed is just ridiculous. Lil Chubb, peace, bro. Raid a channel. All right. Peace.
Looks nice or not? I don't know. Do we like this thing? Or should we just do the normal cowgirl thing? I don't know. Woo! Cowgirl. Not that kind of cowgirl. I don't know. Let's see. Do we like it? I don't know. Do we like this thing? Or is it like too much? I don't know. Looking good. Thank you guys. Do you like this? It makes practical sense. It matches, but it's not so much a cowgirl anymore, I feel. Which cowgirl is your favorite? Hi, thank you so much, OG. Thank you so much for the sub, OG. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me fix my makeup. Looks nice. Thank you. I kind of look like yes. New girl room. We're gonna chill with you regardless. Okay, we'll see about that. I'm just joking. Yeah, but not hating it. Yeah, I don't feel like it's traditional cowgirl, but I just feel like it's like, I don't know, something different. I don't know. I don't know, maybe it's more like Electra or whatever. Thank you so much, Paradox. Thank you so much, Paradox, for the gifted subs. Oh my gosh, Paradox, what the heck? Thank you so much for the 10, gifting 5 gifted subs. Thank you for the 15 subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Paradox. Thank you so much, Paradox. Thank you. Let me get your name on my arm, Electra. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so Thank you so much. Thank you, Paradox. Shout out to Paradox. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Paradox. You're amazing. Thank you. I felt that too. Thank you, guys.